Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. We are coming a little late for us usually in comparison to what we normally do, but this match right here between Argentina and Netherlands, man, what a game. We had to come alive after that. It was just that kind of a match. I mean, twists and turns. It was almost as if it was a Stephen King novel rather than a football match, but towards the end, it is Argentina who get through at a penalties, 5-4 penalties, and incredible. I mean, it's just an incredible match overall. I have with me Abel. How much excited or how much heart wrenching was that match for you to watch? How difficult it was. Some of the points you just felt like things could go back to where to the story that you already know, or maybe Argentina could be crashing out. It was a tough one, wasn't it?
Man, to be very honest, this match had everything in it, and I'm not even kidding. It's 4 in the morning, and I'm still buzzing. So there's something which has really gone right
Yeah.
about this. Why my phone is saying GPS signal lost? Just a second, guys. Yeah, but GPS signal is certainly lost when Netherlands team as they couldn't find their way to the semi-final of the World Cup. But to be very honest, what a game! What two games of football those were.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I've never felt so drained out, and I'm feeling drained out mentally in terms of the kind of emotional mangle it took me to. I'll say it had to be a drama. It had to go down the wire. Argentina could have possibly finished this game off 1 hour ago, 1.5 hours ago. We would have been talking way more earlier than this. But then the
Yeah.
Dutch team never gave up. So credits to Dutch team for doing that. And Argentina, they prayed for their major main man to step up, and it had to be Messi's ball in. Oh my god, that assist will go down to be one of the best assists of World Cup history if you want to take it. How did he pull
Yeah.
that off? How on earth did he pull that off? He went past Ake, he put that ball right in with precision. It was like a precision missile on dot to Molina. It was served on the platter for Molina to finish it off. And also Molina, credit to him, he made that perfect run into the box. But man, oh man, it went to penalties, or when before going to penalties, uh, as a fan, I couldn't watch it. You know that you were there. A couple of our other friends were there,
Yeah.
and we were a lot of other people. And as we were watching with a lot of Argentinian fans, a lot of them, I could sense it in them. The bad history, the bad past, everything was in front of them. Everything was in front of them. It had to be something very special, because you saw earlier today a team falter after taking the lead. They gave it away, then the team absolutely got disjointed. So there is a history which just took place 1 hour or 2 hours back. So that you don't have to
Yeah.
look a lot. You don't have to look a lot behind. But then Argentina, they came back. They came back in the extra time with purpose. They could have had a couple of opportunities even there, but then they kept their calm. The momentum was with them. And man, Emiliano Martinez, I don't have words for this guy. Every time you want someone to step up in penalty shootouts, I was telling you guys, right? Like I was telling you, a couple of other friends, that if it's going to penalties, Argentina are winning it, because I just have a feeling Emiliano Martinez
Yeah.
is made for occasions like, though he'll make mistakes in the game, but in penalty shootouts from the spot, this guy don't make a lot of mistakes. He is right up there. He likes these occasions. He gets so pumped up, and oh man, it feels good to be a football fan. But as an analyst, I would say it was a game where both teams committed mistakes, but at the same time, both teams gave it their all. Both teams were really compact in terms of decision making, especially in
Yeah.
Argentina Netherlands game. But for Brazil Croatia game, I thought Brazil were outplayed midfield, as we predicted in the first half. That's exactly what happened. Brazil
Yeah.
just couldn't get the decisive factor in terms of their transition, in terms of someone doing the dirty work for them. Casemiro won't be able to do all of the work, and penalties, silly mistakes. Don't let a 21-year-old to take your first penalty. Don't do that. Today you saw Messi stepped up. Van Dijk stepped up. Though Van Dijk missed, but Messi scoring the penalty did give Argentina the kind of
And
confidence
you did
to carry
see
on.
what you saw. Even was a team, right? You saw in the Morocco Spain penalty shootout. You saw it in the Croatia Brazil penalty shootout. The Argentina Netherlands penalty shootout. The team that scored the first penalty felt a lot more comfortable on the next few penalties. It is as simple as that, right? The whole team. The first penalty is important for the whole team and not just for that one player. And that's where you saw. Morocco or Argentina or Croatia, when they scored their first penalties, you felt like the whole team sighed a relief. I mean, a breath of relief. And the only time, and only when by the time Brazil scored their first penalty, that's the time when they actually settled in. Before that, it looked like they were not able to. They were having what do you say? They're breathless. They were nervous. Even with same with the Dutch team as well. You saw that once that first penalty goes in, then your whole team is calmer. But if your first penalty doesn't go in, then that nervousness stays, right? And the quicker you get rid of that nervousness, the better it is. And that's why you have to give your best, penalty taker that opportunity. Where was Neymar when it came to Brazil versus Croatia, right? I mean, I can
Yeah,
say for the
you
Dutch
can have
team,
plenty of questions at this point, Jiren, but the fact is
yeah.
that um, Brazil shouldn't have let that first goal equalizer happen. Actually, I'm losing for words because it's 4 in the morning. I'm trying to gather words, but yeah, I'm saying scored the first goal. But the fact is that not the
Yeah.
fact. The issue is that Brazil let go of that first goal, right? From there, they considered that goal at a very wrong stage, which gave the momentum to Croatian team leading into penalties. And
Hmm.
we've seen that with the Croatian team, right? Even in 2018, they
Oh, they have
won against
never
Denmark.
lost a World Cup penalty shootout in their
Yes, they
history.
defeated Denmark in penalties. They defeated Russia in penalties. They went to England in the semi-final, defeated them convincingly through that extra time once again. In extra time, Croatia are always the better team. You always have seen that from they get that extra bit of spark. There's always a moment of magic. And Petkovic, that deflection coming in at the right time for the Croatian team and the ball going in, everything worked right for them. But talking about that, I did not understand why did Brazil try to press in a situation where they should have killed the game by sitting back. I know there are a lot of criticism for staying back. For example, today Argentina, they shouldn't have sat back so early. With 2-0 up,
Hmm.
I still think they are a lot better when Argentina should have actually killed the game there. Should have been more braver on the ball. You let that first goal happen because of the fact that you were sitting back and you actually wanted to you let the long balls come in. That wouldn't have happened if you were trying to press them or not let the long balls come in. That's another take to it. But for Brazil, Croatia were trying to play direct passes. They were trying to counter you. So in a point of stage like that in the game, they should have been much more proactive in terms of how they shouldn't have let the counter attack happen. Firstly, Fred was brought in instead of Paqueta, and Fred trying to press. I've not seen him press for Manchester United. How on earth is he pressing, trying to maintain a high line in a situation like this where you have 3 minutes to play out? Very poor decision making at that point of stage. You saw that Brazil going out isn't a surprise, but yet a surprise, I'll say, because you knew that Brazil had some major weakness which could be exposed by teams who will try to dominate them in midfield. And that was seen through the course of this tournament. You saw that against Switzerland in parts. You saw that against Serbia in parts. But against a team like Croatia, who are midfield dominant, you saw that even more glaringly. And that's something which Brazil was exposed into half. But I still think Brazil had a better game than Croatia in terms of the whole of 120 minutes. But in penalties, man, I feel genuinely bad for Brazil. As I don't know, I feel hurt for some reason. It shouldn't be. I should, as an Argentina fan, I shouldn't be saying that. But then I genuinely feel hurt for Brazil because I was dreaming for an Argentina Brazil semi final. But I really feel bad, man. I really want to at least know Portugal to qualify and make it to the final, and maybe Argentina Portugal final. But to be very honest, Neymar did not deserve this. Neymar did not deserve this. Even I hope Rodrigo will get to come back stronger from this. It's not easy to miss penalties in big occasions like this. And Rodrigo is still in the growing phase of his career. And for him to take the first penalty in itself was a huge responsibility. And Livakovic, it was just Livakovic's brilliance, nothing else.
I mean, it was Livakovic, right, at the end of the day, who really kept them in the hunt. The Croatian team, he was everywhere, making making sure that it was a wall, the Croatian wall against the Brazilian dominance, really. But we did speak about the midfield dominance, right? We did speak about leading up to we had almost a watch throughout the middle phase, and we spoke about how the midfield in the midfield, the three players, there was Brozovic, Modric, and who's the third guy? It was
Brozovic.
Kovacic, who were keep making sure that who were pressing high on the Brazilian backline, especially. And we did speak in the preview of this World Cup as well that the Brazilian backline will be their soft underbelly. That's how it was today as well. But I mean, talk me through their performance with the three of them. Obviously, on the score sheet, you will not find them. But what you will see is the fact that in terms of the impact they've had on the game in keeping the Brazilian, the Brazilian top three, and the fact that they also made sure that the Brazilian backline were always under that stress throughout the match. Isn't this where they really broke down the machinery of Brazilian football?
Yeah, yes and no at the same time, because for Brazil, I still think the defense was pretty solid. Them not giving away literally anything through the course of this World Cup, and for them to give it away in the last moment, I personally think that was not the right way. I still think that's not the right way to judge the team. But the midfield was a concern for them, and especially on the wider regions as well. If you have to talk about Danilo, if you have to talk about Eder Militao, they were not the most ideal wing back option to have in your team. And when you have those kind of players in your team, you will be susceptible to players going wide and putting the ball in. And you saw the counter attack happen exactly through the right hand region of Brazil, where the counter happened, the ball was pinned in, and Petkovic got into right position to put the ball in. But you shouldn't have let that counter happen. I don't know why did that counter happen in a stage where you are the team who's leading. And how can a counter attack be done when you are the team who's leading, and when you are going to actually, play out the match at that stage? It was shocking for me, because if a counter would have happened for Croatia, I would have still understood, because Croatia were trailing by one goal. Croatia were looking for the equalizer, and counter was could have been easily be made by Vinny Jr. or Rafinha or Anthony on the right hand side. But here on the flip side of things, you let Croatia score through a counter attacking goal. That in itself is a huge tactical mistake. Today you saw one thing with Scaloni. I know they let go of that ball. It was a free kick. It was a moment of madness which let that happen. Pazela, um, you can say it shouldn't have happened, it could have happened. These things are part and parcel of the game. I think we'll talk about the refereeing in the game
Yeah,
in large. But before that, I still think Scaloni was not bad, especially in the later half of things. He made sure there was a lot of tactical fouls. There was a clear intention to slow the game down in a decisive manner. See, the goal did not come literally from an open play. The goal came from what? A free kick. The second goal, especially the first goal, yeah, it was against the run of play. Nobody expected that ball coming in, and it was Berhois brilliance which put the ball in. He absolutely pinpointed the header to make the ball bounce right in front of Emi Martinez and to go
yeah.
in. So these things do happen. But for the second goal to happen, it was tactical brilliance from Van Hal. It was a training ground drill which
Yeah, it's
overpowered
just
us.
free kick routine was really interesting, wasn't it?
It was right straight out of the training ground, right?
Yeah,
And hence you saw something like that happen. But at the same time, I'll
because
think there
I
is.
mean, Argentina had prepared for almost everything. They had a wall erected. They had a player lying down for that low pass and the ball jumps. Everything was there, but somehow, somewhere, they just found a way.
I will say so, because at that point you will lose concentration as well, because you look at the way, right? You have what, 30 seconds to play out. That was the last possible chance of the match.
That was the
If that
last
would have
kick.
gone
That was the
anywhere
last kick.
else, it was game done.
Yeah,
Game got done for Arjuna's favor, what, 40-45 minutes later. But the fact is that um, that would have been game done if that
yeah,
free kick would have been missed, it would have gone off target. But then for them to show the composure, for them to go back to that kind of a trick in the final or dying stage of the game, you have to give credit to Netherlands for that. You have to give credit to Netherlands, because it it could have only taken nerves of steel to do that, and they executed that with brilliance. And I think these are things which we tend to ignore more often than not, but these are things which make a lot of effort. You need to be brave in situations like this. You need to show a lot. You need to be a little more out of the box to really create that equalizer, and that's what they did. They went out of the box. They went out of the game plan. They deployed their plan C. Plan A did not work. Plan B did not work. They went for plan C, which was to play the long balls in, win fouls, or get the best possible option. That's why they brought in someone like a Luke De Jong, who could possibly create the threat inside the box, because you have seen that with Luke De Jong. he's a towering, he has got a towering header inside the box, and he's a very big presence inside the box as well. And when you have Lisandro Martinez there, it's not
Yeah,
easy against Luke De Jong. He can actually overpower you in terms of his height, overpower you in terms of the physicality, and his threat inside the box is way more dangerous than a Depay or a Gakpo. So for them to go to Luke De Jong and for them to play those long balls in from Ake, from Lyon, it really worked in their favor, and that really
it
was
did.
a thing of beauty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, talk me through. Let's talk about the refereeing, right? And let's also talk about, as we talk about the refereeing, let's also talk about some of the fouls that we saw today. You felt Argentina made a lot of reckless fouls in the later half of that game.
Yeah, they did mix reckless fouls, but that is typically Argentina way of trying to slow a game down, trying to win fouls, play those tactical fouls. Fouls are, for Argentina, they've always done that. They've always been successful in doing that. But today, I thought refereeing was just bad. The number of yellow cards which are given out, it was like every moment or every 2 minutes that guy
Yeah, it
had a
was
yellow
almost like
card.
those yellow cards were actually the wedding cards of the
It was
referee.
like
He was
wedding
handing over
invitation.
to every player.
Absolutely, it was like a wedding invitation. Tu bile,
Yeah.
tu bile. Sab log, sabko mila yellow. I think what there were close to 14 yellow cards. No, sorry, 13 yellow cards in the game, and that's a lot. That's more than half of the players. And there was a point of change in the game where 11 players had yellow cards who were playing, and that was crazy. So every second person had a yellow card on the field, which included Leo Messi in
Oh yeah,
themselves.
even just a confirmation. There are 14 yellow cards, 8 to Argentina, 6 to Netherlands. It's
14 yellow
14
cards.
yellow
That's what.
cards.
14 yellow cards. I remember the last one also came into picture. I am a Verhoes. He was sitting on the bench. He also got a yellow card. So there was 13 in game and one
Oh, and
outside the
then there
game.
was a red card to Denzel Dumfries as well. So that makes it, I don't know. I
Oh,
mean,
when did this red card happen? I think it
yeah,
happened
I
right
mean, this
after.
is something that Google's reporting right here. Even I don't remember seeing that actually. Maybe it was off camera.
Okay. We did predict a red card, and I only knew it was just moments away from the red card coming out, but it was just a crazy refereeal performance. I mean, he just wanted to be a hero. He wanted to get all the limelight today, and he really did get all the limelight ahead of Messi. Nobody's even talking about Messi's brilliance. We're all talking about referee. We're all talking about other reasons in this game because of the referee who stole the limelight. But the fact is that you can't have referees. Messi is right in coming out stating that this refereeing was below par. I felt it. Even as a Dutch fan, many of the Dutch fans are feeling it. I think it was just poor refereeing to give out so many bookings in a game where you still could
Yeah.
have avoided. He started giving out bookings for unnecessary fouls, and there came a stage in the game where the next booking is going to give was a red card to any player because that those were a number
Hmm.
of fouls. There will be fouls. There will be fouls which can be avoided, but you can't give a yellow card for that. Come on, then you can't play football at all. Then every time a person goes down, then you have to give a yellow card to a player. That's just not how it works. If there is deliberate tackles, if there are real genuine issues, then you can pull out a yellow card, but not for every small thing. And I understand he's not a lenient referee at all, but the fact is also that you can't give away yellow cards in such large number. 14 yellow cards. My goodness, that's just crazy number.
We'll take some of the comments. Azul says, "Vamos Argentina." I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the mood with us as well when we were watching the match together. I mean, it was some crazy match. Saloli says she's unable to sleep after Brazil's loss. Good to hear from you guys. Yeah, same here, Saloli. That's the reason why we have come up live because we are like, I think it'll take a half an hour at least, to let everything down and probably for the tiredness to hit us because what a match it has been, and it has been difficult. It is going to be difficult for us to sleep as well. So yeah, why not talk about something that we would have all obviously spoken about off camera? And Sandipani is back with us. Sandipani, missing you. We will soon be seeing you on Cricket Lives. Maybe once the football frenzy is over. But he says Croatia is repeating a 2018 performance. They are penalty specialists, definitely. I mean, from what I know, they have not lost a penalty in penalty shootout in the World in their World
Just
Cup
to add
history.
that, right? Talking, I mean, just to go back to the Argentinian game, but I think one factor which kept Argentina going, which we are not talking about, is an external factor. It is the 50,000 Argentinians who were in the stadium, which did not give hope even after you conceded that second goal to
Yeah,
equalize, and the momentum shifted to Netherlands team. But even then, for Argentinian fans to
yeah. I
come
mean, for
back with the same voice, with the
in that
same.
whole blue of sea, in that whole sea of blue, there are only specks of oranges, right? It's
I
just a sea of
understand that.
blue.
Fine, but I'm just talking about the impact of the Argentinian crowd today. It's very easy as a fan to give up hope when your team
Yeah,
is down and out, especially when you've conceded that second goal, which would have possibly ended your World Cup run, because momentum is totally with the Netherlands team at that stage. If from that stage, if Netherlands would have attacked you, then the number of chances you have to come back into the game is very less. But then the Argentinian crowd came back with the same decibel levels once the extra time kicked off. And that's one of the reasons you saw Argentina were the dominant team in the extra time. In the extra time,
yeah.
Argentinian team did create 3 to 4 chances. And also there you have to give credit to Di Maria. His substitution was a moment of magic for the Argentinian team. He did give the momentum to Argentina leading into that penalties, because him trying to create chances on the right hand side, linking up with Montiel, trying to put the ball in for Lautaro Martinez, him trying to just get inside the box. It was extremely threatening. I thought it was just wonderful to watch Di Maria. Though he just played for 15 minutes, 15 minutes was worth its weight in gold.
So I honestly I felt he could have really come on as a substitute ahead of someone like a Lautaro Martinez, because I felt he was needed at that stage, because Angel Di Maria has got that skill to really make those runs and create some chances, some spaces on that on the flanks. That's what he did when he came on in the extra time, right? So if he had come on maybe those 7 minutes leading up to that 90 minutes final whistle, you would have seen something happen. But I can understand why then, but at least in the extra time, right after the extra time began, you should have sent in an angle. Di Maria, because he could have really resolved those issues that Argentina was having in terms of creating chances.
You
Carlos
possibly could have done
Fernandez,
that,
and
but
yeah,
it's in buts at the end of the day, because he was also not the
yeah,
fit as leading into this game, so you don't want to take that risk, because anything could have happened. But at the end of the day, ultimately Argentina were able to pull out the result, and rightly so. Argentina deserved that result because they were the better team through the course of the match, other than those 20 minutes of magic from the Dutch team. But
yeah.
I would say it's just brilliance from Messi and the boys. Messi once again leading Argentina, equaling Maradona's record, and actually getting past Maradona's record for most
So he's actually
assists
now he's
plus
equal
goals.
the highest goal scorer for
No, he
Argentina.
has gone past Maradona's record of most assists plus goals for Argentina in a World Cup. I did tell it somewhere, like if Messi does that, Argentina will go on to win it. But even despite of him doing that, Argentina actually played out a stalemate, which went to penalties, and that penalty was cold from Messi in the penalty shootouts.
Oh yeah,
That was
oh yeah,
cold. That was a
yeah, yeah.
cold penalty
It was
take.
right
Uh,
out of the cold storage. Right out of the
yeah,
cold
it
storage.
was.
And
It
then
was.
the
It was.
celebration after that, it was as if,
Yeah, he went like
what do
this,
you
right?
expect?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
Oh man, that.
There was heat of words exchanged between Louis Van Gaal, Cleveland, and also Messi towards the end of the match. Very interesting. Why was those words exchanged? And there is a reason for it, because Van Gaal tinkered with this in the press conference. He went all out, picking up Messi, picking up Argentinian team, saying that he'll go for revenge, this that. Even when they scored that goal in the second, right before the close of play, there was a lot of words which were exchanged. Things did get heated, but then that's the beauty of football. You wanted things to get heated, and it did get heated rightly. This game had everything in it. This game had a messy drama. This game had a comeback. This game had a penalty drama. This game had fights, yellow cards, red card, everything. This was a complete game of football in terms of drama. If you wanted to stay at the edge of the seat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really was, and it was a match for the ages, definitely. Let's talk about one person from the Dutch team, right? His name is Werghorst. I mean, if I'm pronouncing it right, you
Yeah.
might correct me here, but two goals in the space of eight. I mean, in the space of what, 20 minutes, and someone who was really not in the lineup. Depay was Bergwijn, Gakpo. They were all in the bench by the time he came on, right? By the time he started performing, and yet for him to draw two goals against an Argentinian team which probably had already settled their plans to stay for a few more days, then to
I
come
mean,
back from
yeah,
there
you have
is
to
an
say that this
absolute
guy
beast
also
of a
got a yellow
performance.
card before he even came onto the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, talk me through his performance, Abel. What do you reckon? his performance, I mean, and how do you think his performance was really aided by the kind of Dutch strategy of the long balls? Because that was something that we spoke about as soon as what do you say, Luke De Jong came on. We realized that that's probably what the Netherlands are going to try with a few minutes left to try and take advantage of the height advantage that Netherlands had. And they did take advantage of it, but it was not Luke De Jong who really took that advantage. It was Weghorst, wasn't it?
There was Werhaus who took the advantage, and it was right. It was a very good tactical move from Louis van Gaal. You know, Louis van Gaal is such a celebrated manager. Regardless of what happened today, Louis van Gaal is still one of the best coaches in the history of football because he's a tactical magician when it comes to his decision making, when it comes to him deploying these kind of players in crunch situation. I know many of you remember Tim Krul coming into the Dutch team for penalties against Costa Rica in 2014, just for penalties. So he deploys these kind of tactics time and time again with whichever team he's coached. And Brian Verhoeven, even despite of him getting a yellow card, was a masterstroke in itself because when a player who's already gotten a yellow card, even before he has come into the field, to bring him in because he's got that height as an advantage, which can overpower Lisandro Martinez, which can overpower someone like Christian Romero, and also Otamendi is a factor, and his presence or his physical presence inside the box really did show it, especially the long balls coming in, and he was a huge factor. Uh, that header of Verhoes, in terms of getting that bounce right in front of Emi Martinez was wonderful. I don't think a lot of players can actually do it, but then he actually timed that header to perfection. He really wanted that ball
Yeah.
to bounce so it could actually get past Emi Martinez, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, great performance from him because he's the one who really turned it around there for the Dutch team. Talk me through, I mean, some the top three, right, for Netherlands. Depay, Gakpo, Bergwijn. They did not really shine today as they have been shining throughout this tournament, isn't it? Because you felt like they were not able to get the final touch, or was it really not a non-performance from them?
Uh, Yes and no, because I thought they did not get that final touch because the formation which Argentina played was a very smart formation. They knew that Dutch team was going to have the majority of the ball possession. They knew that Dutch team was going to dominate in terms of them trying to come in from the right hand region because Dutch right hand region of Gakpo and Denzel Dumfries was definitely going to hurt the Argentinians to a larger extent with the pace they've got, with the kind of creativity they can have from the right hand region. But at the same time, to have Bergwijn and Depay through the central region and not have any effect at all because there was no creativity through the central region. They had blocked. Otamendi played a very big role in doing that, and also at the same time, someone like Rodrigo De Paul and Enzo Fernandez as well. Enzo Fernandez had played a central role today, and he did a very good job in terms of recovery, in terms of trying to win the ball, and actually trying to progress it into the final third. Winning the ball was a very important factor today, and Enzo did that to an extent in different phases of the game. And also when Parede came into the pitch, he also did a very similar job as to what he was asked to do. All in all, very important performance from Argentina in the defensive line. They did not let those balls come in. I know long balls. I think Argentina will have to be very careful. I know Croatia will not play that because they don't have a Mandzukic right now. But then be careful. With Modric there, with Kovacic there, with Brozovic there, you will have to be careful and you'll have to really make sure that they don't dare to dominate like you saw that with the Brazilian team as well. So Argentine midfield have to be compact. They will have to not let Croatian midfield dominate over them, and also at the same time make sure they stay compact so those penetrative passes don't come in.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Well, that's pretty much it, I suppose, Abel, from this match between Argentina and Netherlands. Let's talk about Brazil and Croatia because we obviously had the preview of it, right? And then we could not come back because obviously this match started and we got engrossed in it. But we have to talk about that match because it is a stunner. A lot of people are shocked right now. No one expected Brazil to go this early in the World Cup. It just shows a supercomputer can't really predict the outcome of of a sports event, especially as something as unpredictable as the football
But
World Cup.
Supercomputer did pick Argentina and Portugal playing in the final. How about
Maybe,
that? How about that?
maybe,
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So, uh,
Yeah, but I don't think any supercomputer still predicted Germany. I mean, Brazil getting knocked out in the
no,
quarters.
no supercomputer
In the
didn't predict. Every
quarters.
supercomputer predicted that it's going to be Germany versus Brazil in the quarterfinal, and Brazil getting the better of Germany. So that's how it was supposed to be. Argentina was the Brazil semi-final, but then we can only predict, right? Ultimately, sport is the biggest winner. Sport says, "Just wait a minute, bro. I got something else to say," and it just keeps throwing surprises at you time and time again. And once
Yeah,
again,
it
this
does.
football, this beautiful sport, has thrown another surprise. Not a surprise. It's a deserving win for Croatia. I think the moment we say call it an upset, I think it's disrespect to the Croatian national team.
It is
Let's
a
all
bit, yeah.
remember they are the runners up of the 2018 World Cup. They are in top four once again. There is something about this team and the big occasions and these players stepping up when it matters the most. I think it runs through the team. They've sniffed the blood once and they're relishing it time and time again. I think they're on a journey in the big moments like the World Cup. They will hurt you in a manner which you don't even realize. That's exactly what has happened with Brazil as well. Brazil were the favorites, but then when Croatia equalized, you still thought Brazil can go through in the penalties. It just did not happen. It had to be Croatia
Yeah.
who fancy the chances time and time again in the penalties, because in penalties they really fancy the chances when you compare them with any other team, because they've got the experience of doing that time and time again. At the same time, Livakovic is a wonderful keeper. He's just coming off a brilliant penalty save against Japan as well. So that really runs through them, and also their veins are just cold, or what, it's made up of steel. It's just as good. They're so calm in penalties. I also think that's got to do a lot with Modric. Modric has such a calming effect in this team. We often talk about managers,
Hmm.
but then to have a leader like Modric on the pitch, players look up to him because he is their greatest to have ever come out from Croatia. And if he ends up winning this trophy, I think football should remember him as the greatest midfielder of all time. I think there's nothing which comes close to him, because the number of Champions Leagues, number of times he has done it time and time again in big occasions. I've not seen a midfielder put up that kind of performance, man. We talk about Xavi, Iniesta. I'm a big fan of both of them. They won a World Cup, they won Champions Leagues, but singularly for a player to do it for a country who was not who's really there and thereabouts,
Yeah.
I think that there's something special about this guy and his team, the way he drives the team, the way in which people look up to him, the way in which they're able to bring their A game in big occasions like this. You have to give it to Modric and the boys.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. People. I mean, another stat that is just going over, right? And you see that 21 shots from Brazil, 11 of them on target, and just one goal. And that just it just shows, right? I'm sure. I mean, obviously, Livakovic, as we spoke, had a lot to do with it. But still, 21 shots, 11 shots on target. You expect this Brazilian team to at least make three out of it, not one.
Yes, but it was one of those days, man, where your goalkeeper was just too good. He was there every time. Brazil could have easily scored 2 to 3 goals in that match, and this match wouldn't even have gone to the extra time. But it is what it is at the end of the day. When you don't
Yeah,
convert your chances, it comes to haunt you badly. And that's exactly
exactly.
what happened with Brazil as well. They did not convert the chances. That goal from Neymar was just out of the best goals out there, For him to score
Yeah.
that goal and also to equal Pele's record right there, that was just a beautiful moment. But at the same time, for Brazil to be crashing out in a way like this in penalties, I
I mean,
still think it's
it could be
hard to
Neymar's
digest
last
at this
ever
point. It's very hard to
World
digest.
Cup match. It could be possibly Neymar's last World Cup match. So that's probably the
It's
worst
still
way to
early
go.
days. What, he's 30, he can play easily another World Cup. He's gonna be 34 next World Cup, and I still think he's got enough age. But Modric is 36, Messi is 35, Ronaldo is 37. They all are playing, and Benzema is 35. I think there are players who are getting better with age, time and time again. I still think we've not seen the best of Neymar in world football, and if Neymar, I know this is going to really hurt him. This is going to really hurt him because he's won zero international trophies with the team. Even when Copa America was won by Brazil in
Oh,
2019,
he's won an Olympic gold medal.
yeah, but then that's not part of the international major trophies. But
Yeah,
that's the whole point, right? But even when Brazil won the Copa America in 2019, Neymar was not part of the squad because he was injured. So he's not one. He was not part of any Brazilian squad who's won a silverware. So that's going to hurt him a
yeah.
lot. I really thought this was a moment to add that 6 star on their badge. This team had it in them, But as we keep saying, man, football keeps throwing surprises at you time and time again. I can only sit here and predict that Portugal will defeat Morocco and England versus France is going to go down the wire.
I mean,
But
no one
we don't know what's
expected
going to happen in
Morocco to
football.
be the one facing Portugal, right? Everyone expected it to be Morocco. I mean, everyone expected it to be Spain versus Portugal, not Morocco versus Portugal. That itself shows how unpredictable football can be. No one
Yeah,
expected Croatia versus Argentina. Maybe no one even wanted Croatia versus Argentina except for the Croatians. But
if I'm
then
not
that's how it is.
wrong, Karen, in the last World Cup when Portugal played Morocco, it was a nil-nil draw in the full time. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember it was a very close game. Morocco really did play well in the group stage game against Portugal in 2018 World Cup as well. So uh, they're not going to be a cakewalk for Portugal for sure. But at the same time, Portugal with the momentum they've been riding on should be a easy closer for them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But that's pretty much it then from our end. Abel, anything else before we end the line?
Nothing else. It's almost 4:30 in the morning, and
Yeah.
I think I should get some sleep
Yeah, yeah, I
because
can feel the tiredness creeping in
it's been
now,
24
like
hours
a
and
last minute
I've
touch
not got a
goal.
single moment of sleep because after we wake up for college at what 5, then we
Yeah.
have that kind of a day and we go to play, then we come back, then we watch football, then we do lives. And this match went so deep into the night that it's been 24 hours and I'm still awake. I've not had a single bit of sleep. I think it's about
Thank
time I
God
catch some
today is
sleep.
a holiday.
Yeah, I
I
catch some sleep
swear.
and go to play tomorrow. Excited
Because
about going to play.
because if it wasn't 20 minutes, no, I mean half an hour from now, my alarm would be ringing. So I mean,
Yeah. I mean, 24 hours of no sleep has really gotten to me at this point. It's
yeah,
I've emotionally drained out because of what's happened over the last two games. It's tough to watch it as a football fan, man, because it takes on right. Penalty shootouts in World Cup knockouts is never an easy thing, and especially when you are on the receiving end of things, it's not good. So
yeah.
I would have loved to watch it as a neutral, but when Argentina is playing, it's very tough for me to watch it. But with the kind of game we've had, to take a lead, concede the equalizer, to go to extra time moments here, there. Oh man, it's crazy. And I think I should catch
Yeah.
some sleep so that I can wake up and get ready to go to
Yeah.
play again and come back and do the live for Portugal versus Morocco and also France was
England
Netherlands. No,
versus
France
France.
was England,
England
sorry.
versus France. So tomorrow is
Yeah.
going to be another whirlwind day for you, Abel.
Yeah. It is. It is going to be a very pretty much a whirlwind day. I'm backing England to make it through. Portugal versus England. It's a prediction which I made way early before the World Cup started. England, Portugal versus England semi-final. Brazil versus Argentina semi-final is what I predicted. But then I don't know, man. This World Cup
And your
just
predictions haven't really gone well. So
it has come well in patches, but not exactly.
yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us then this late, especially if you're from India. But you hope you had a great match if you're the Argentinian side of things. If you're on the Brazil side of things, it's all right. Another World Cup will come in 4 years and maybe things will turn out better for you then. But it doesn't matter which side you're on. You guys can all win on Boomer 11 because it is a risk-free fantasy experience. And remember, guys, right now, if you go to our app, you can be one of the 5200 daily winners on our app, and maybe you could have been one today if you had gone ahead and played. And on our Sharaf DG predictor, we have up to 4 electronics available for you to grab if you are able to play the fantasy sport, fantasy predictions well. And also, if you are playing the African plus Eastern predictor, then you can be one of the top 10 winners for every match. Where if you win, you end up with 5 iPhone 14 Pro Max, and 20th December is when we will be declaring the winners. And if you don't end up getting an iPhone 14 Pro Max, then that's not an issue because we still have 45 G-Shock watches that are up for grabs. So, guys, it doesn't matter if you're Brazil, Argentina, or Portugal, Morocco, or England or France, you can still win a lot of prizes on Boomer 11 app. But thank you so much for joining us once again. I think that's pretty much it from us. And we'll be catching some well needed sleep. Hope you guys have a good few hours of sleep at least. And
Absolutely. Good night,
if you
guys.
have a
Bye.
holiday, then enjoy it. Maybe
Yeah.
wake up before the next kickoff.
Bye bye, guys. Good night.
Bye, guys.